Okay, let's talk about it. The single biggest and maybe the most confusing cost of owning a home: real estate taxes. From the minute you get the keys to the day you hand them over to someone else, there's a whole tax story playing out. We're going to crack that code right now. Have you ever gotten that property tax bill in the mail, opened it up, and just felt your eyes glaze over? All those numbers, all that jargon. If you've been there, trust me, you are not alone. It's a huge expense, but most of us don't really get what's behind it. So let's fix that. To make this super simple, we're going to follow the entire tax journey of a house. We'll start at the very beginning, the day it's bought. Then we'll cover the big one, that yearly bill. And we'll finish up at the end of the line, the day it's sold. Each part has its own rules you've got to know. So, you did it. You bought a home. That's awesome. But before you even start thinking about that first annual tax bill, there's actually a tax that pops up right at the very beginning, at the closing table. It's called the documentary transfer tax. Sounds pretty official, right? But really, all it is a one-time fee the government charges for the paperwork to officially transfer the property from the old owner to you. And it's all based on how much the house sold for. So how much is it? Well, it's 55 cents for every $500 of the sale price. But here's the interesting twist. Even though it's part of you buying the house, it's almost always the seller who actually pays it. This all gets handled during escrow, where a third party makes sure all the money and paperwork gets to the right place. All right, let's get to the main event, the one you're going to get to know very, very well, your annual property tax bill. This is the big one, the recurring cost that helps pay for all the local stuff we rely on. Schools, roads, police, firefighters. The whole system is built on one simple idea. It's an ad valorem tax. That's just a fancy Latin phrase that means according to value. It's pretty straightforward. The more your property is worth, the more tax you pay. That's the foundation for everything else. Now, this is something that trips a lot of people up. There are two totally different county offices handling your taxes. First, you've got the county assessor. Their only job is to figure out what your property's worth. Then you have the county tax collector. They're the ones who actually send you the bill and collect your money. They don't decide the value. They just send the bill based on it. Knowing who does what is key.
Look, you absolutely cannot talk about property taxes in California without talking about the big one, Proposition 13. This law from back in 1978 completely rewrote the rulebook. It's the reason your neighbor who's been there for 40 years might pay way, way less in taxes than you do.
So here's the first golden rule of Prop 13. Your main property tax is capped at a maximum of 1% of your property's assessed value. That's it. When you buy a house, they set its value right then and there, and your tax base is 1% of that price. And here's the other half of the magic formula that gives you so much stability. No matter how much your home's actual market value shoots up, the value they use for taxes can't go up by more than 2% in any given year. This is what protects you from those giant, shocking tax hikes and keeps your bill predictable year after year. Okay. Knowing the rules is one thing, but what you really want to know is, how can I lower my bill, right? Well, let's get into the good stuff. There are a few really important programs out there designed to give homeowners a break. The most common one, by a long shot, is the homeowner's exemption. This is a super straightforward benefit for anyone who owns and actually lives in their home as their main residence. Seriously, if this applies to you and you're not getting it, you are just leaving money on the table. So, what's it worth? This little exemption shaves a cool $7,000 right off the top of your property's assessed value before they calculate the tax. It might not sound like a huge number, but hey, it's an automatic savings that adds up every single year. Next up, there's the Veterans Exemption. This is a specific benefit for California residents who have served in the armed forces during a time of war. It's a way of recognizing that service with a real, tangible financial benefit. This exemption gives you a $4,000 reduction in the assessed value of your property. Now, here's the crucial part. You generally have to choose. You can take this exemption or the homeowner's exemption, but you can't claim both. Now, this one is a huge deal for seniors. If you're over 55 and you've been sitting on that super low Prop 13 tax base for years, this rule lets you sell your home, buy a new one, and basically pack up that low tax base and take it with you. You just have to follow these 4 steps. For anyone looking to downsize, this is an absolute game changer. And here we are, the final chapter of our journey, the day you sell your home. After years of paying property taxes, there's just one last tax to think about, and this one is all about your profit.
This brings us to something called capital gains. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It's just the profit you make, the difference between what you sold the house for and what you originally paid for it. And yes, that profit can be taxed, but there's a massive exception for homeowners. And this is just fantastic news. The tax code gives you this huge break. If you're single, the first $250,000 of profit you make is completely 100% tax-free. $250,000 just gone from your tax bill. And it gets even better than that. If you're married and you file your taxes together, that number doubles. You can make up to $500,000 in profit from selling your home and not pay a single dime in capital gains tax on it. This is one of the most powerful wealth-building tools there is. Now, of course, there are a couple of key conditions. First, this has to be your main home, your principal residence, not a rental property or a vacation spot. And second, you can only use this powerful tax break once every 2 years. So there you have it. From the transfer tax when you buy, to that annual bill controlled by Prop 13, all the way to the huge capital gains break when you sell, that's the tax life of a home. Understanding this journey isn't just about crunching numbers. It's about being an empowered, informed owner of what's probably your most valuable asset. So the tax code isn't just a bunch of rules, it's really a set of incentives. Now that you know about things like that massive capital gains exclusion, or the ability to take your tax base with you when you're older, how does that change the way you think about your home? Not just as a place to live, but as a financial tool for your future.